Hi, welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV. We're going to do a rundown of Arsene Wenger's press conference that he's had today ahead of the big clash down there in Wales against Swansea. Swansea, a team that, of course, was the only team last year to do the double over Arsenal. They beat us at their place. I can't forget that one because that one led to that massive rant from Claude and Ty. They also beat us at home, and that one I can't forget either because I still trying to figure out how they beat us. They virtually parked the bus for the whole game and then just hit us with a counter attack right at the end. And it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Lots of injuries, and of course they've got a great record against us, and they're coming off the back of a much-needed win that they got themselves last week. So what did Arsene Wenger have to say in his press conference? Wenger, typically as usual, in good form, but the questions that were being put to him, in particular in the press conference, seemed to centre a lot around what is a bit of a, should I say, a crisis at the moment. Maybe not a crisis, but certainly lots of first-team players injured. We saw the other night injuries to Theo Walcott, to Oxlade-Chamberlain, very important players. This particularly Theo, who's been playing so well for Arsenal. Injuries also, as we know, to Arteta, injuries and the long-term ones, Wilshere, Welbeck, all of those injuries. So he was being asked a lot of questions today about injuries. First question he was asked was about Oxlade-Chamberlain and Theo Walcott, both of who got injured on Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday. And Arsene Wenger said that, listen, both of them are going to be out until after the international break. So that's quite a few weeks. So I suppose maybe if the international break hadn't come, there'd be a possibility they may have got back just on that week. But obviously, he doesn't want them to go out and play in the international game. So he's saying after the international break. The interesting thing, what he said, was that Oxlade-Chamberlain, he said, is the person. Ox will be the quickest back, Theo a fraction longer. That was his quote on the whole thing. And, again, that's quite surprising because we were sort of being led to believe that the one who got the worst injury was Oxlade-Chamberlain, but it looks like it's Theo that's picked up the worst out of the two injuries, and it's Theo who's going to be back. He says a fraction longer. We're all hoping and praying as Arsenal fans because we know what these injuries are like. We are told many times that players will be back in a couple of weeks, then it's 4 weeks, then it's 6, then it's longer, setbacks, etc., as we've seen with Jack Wilshere. So we're only hoping and praying that these are muscular injuries and they're not taking any precautions with them, and they'll be back ASAP. But it's definitely a massive blow going into that game. And he was questioned a lot by the press at the press conference, who was saying to him, listen, is there a pattern to this? Why is it that Arsenal seem to get so many injuries? It's always the things that kind of hinders Arsenal season in, season out. Arsene Wenger said, listen, he goes, they analyse it, they look at it, they do look deeply into it, but he also said that it's something that can sometimes be over-analysed, and some injuries are just down to bad luck. He says it's nothing to do with their training. He just couldn't really answer the question, to be honest. But Arsenal just get a disproportionate amount of injuries, and it always seems to be to very, very important players. We saw how thin the squad looked last week, and that's basically because you've got 8 first-team players that are out. You've got Wilshere out, Ramsey out, Welbeck, Rosicky. He just can't sustain this amount of injuries for long periods of time during the season and win the league. So it's really, really frustrating at the moment. And Arsene Wenger didn't really seem to have an answer for it. As he just said, looks like it's just down to bad luck, which led to other questions of what team are you going to play in that game? Now, it's the person that everybody's talking about, the person that everyone's saying that is going to have to come in is Joel Campbell. Now, let's face it, Joel Campbell didn't have a very good game the other night. As a matter of fact, I'd say it was quite a poor game by Joel Campbell. hasn't really had a big game in an Arsenal shirt. And, you know, when asked about it, Arsene Wenger said, listen, my options are to play Joel Campbell. And he said, you know, we can play Joel Campbell on the right-hand side to replace Oxlade-Chamberlain, with Giroud, of course, replacing Theo Walcott. And he said, or the other option is to put another defensive midfielder in. So you'd have two holding midfielders in Coquelin and, say, Flamini, and put Cazorla over on the right. But Arsene Wenger said he hasn't decided yet what formation to go to. He also said about Joel Campbell, he said, and these are his quotes, he said, I've been very impressed with him, with his desire to improve. He's been fantastic. He can play as a centre forward as well. And I think he can help us in the next 2 or 3 months. It is a massive 2 or 3 months, I'd say, for Joel Campbell. If he doesn't have, you know, a very successful period when he comes in to replace these players, I really think he might be on his way, because, you know, this is his chance to shine. A bit like Bellerin when he came in for Debuchy. He's shone so much that Debuchy can't get back in the team now. So this is the challenge to Joel Campbell. This is his big chance. You know, as fate has had it, it's all falling his way right now. Can he burst his way into the team? And what formation will Arsene Wenger go with? I mean, I don't really like the idea of the two holding midfielders and then putting Cazorla out on the right, because Cazorla's been doing so well for us, playing in that deeper role and just taking the ball off of Coquelin and working his magic. And I don't really like the idea of those two defensive midfielders. And Joel Campbell, is he the person to start as well? Because if you start with Joel Campbell, it means that you don't have any pacey player to come off of the bench and make an impact. And that's one thing I think that Joel Campbell can be capable of doing, is coming off of the bench and making an impact. Somebody suggested this yesterday, and I think it's not a bad suggestion. And they said, why not play Debuchy as a right back and push Bellerin further forward as a right winger? He started his career playing in that position. He's certainly excellent coming forward and would be able to help out, you know, Debuchy at the back as well. I think that'd be a great shout. And then later on, you can bring on a Joel Campbell when players are tiring to make an impact. You could push Bellerin, say, back into that right-hand position and bring Campbell on. I don't know, but I'd prefer that. I really don't want to see Santi Cazorla wasted out on the right-hand side. And I'll be really interested to see what you guys think about it. Leave it in the comments below. I'll read through these. What do you think would be the best formation going into that Swansea game? As I said, two holding midfielders with Cazorla on the right, which is one of the things that has been suggested by Wenger. Or, as I'm suggesting, Bellerin on the right-hand side, Debuchy as a right back, and Campbell as a weapon that you can bring on later on with a bit of pace when teams are tiring, that can go over there and help out. I mean, remember last year, you had Montero, who was tearing it up on that right-hand side and gave Callum Chambers loads of problems in that game. So we're going to have to be strong on that right-hand side as well. So I really don't think this is the game for Santi Cazorla to play over there. Talking about right-backs, another very interesting point was brought up, and that was about Serge Gnabry. Now, Serge Gnabry, of course, would be perfect right now to play out on that right-hand side. Of course, he's out on loan at West Bromwich Albion. And we heard this week that Tony Pulis came out and said that, you know, he's not good enough at the moment to play for West Brom. And, you know, he's more or less like sounding like he wants to send him back to Arsenal. And there was a lot of suggestions from people, could Gnabry come back to Arsenal, end the loan early, and, you know, obviously he'd be able to help out in that right-hand position. That's where he plays. Arsene Wenger said today, no, Serge Gnabry will not be coming back. He's going to be staying out on his loan, and that he's challenged Gnabry to change Tony Pulis's mind, you know, to put in some good performances there, which changed Pulis's mind and makes Pulis put him into the team. Again, I don't know. Why not just bring him? I mean, I don't know the exact terms of the loan, but for me, bring him back. You know, Pulis don't want him. The style of football that Pulis plays anyway, I'll bring him back. I think, you know, why not? Get him back in the team, but I don't know. You know, Wenger wants to leave him out there on loan, wants him to to try and get himself into that team. I've said this many times about loan moves. It can go one or two ways. You've got players who go out on loan and embrace the loan system and work really hard and put in great performances, and then they get noticed back by their team and they either come back and end up playing back for Arsenal, or they get themselves a really good move. You've got other players who go out on loan and basically they sulk. They're like, you know, why am I here? What am I doing here? I'm better than this. I'm better than West Brom. I'm better than playing here. I was playing for Arsenal last year. I want to play for Arsenal. I want to play with Mesut Ozil. I'm not saying that that's what Gnabry's doing, but Gnabry needs to shape up real quick, because Wenger's literally saying to him, you're staying there and you need to prove that you're good enough there at West Brom before you can think about coming back to Arsenal. So that's what Wenger's had to say. So those are the key points really from the press conference. It's going to be a really tough game tomorrow. And you know what? In one way, of course, the injuries are bad. Of course, it's not even just the game tomorrow. Remember, we've got Bayern Munich on Wednesday. We've got Tottenham next week as well. So we've got 3 really tough games before we go into a next international break. So I just want the players that are there to give it their all right up to there. If we can get some positive results and then go into international breaks, we'll have players coming back. That's if we don't get nobody else injured. So, and in another way, the one thing I'm glad at is that none of those players that got injured the other night were defenders, because to me, the defence has been playing really well. If we can keep the guys like Koscielny fit, Gabriel, Bellerin, Monreal, you know, that strong unit, Francis Coquelin, I think I'd be a bit more upset if one of those were injured right now, because you know what, going forward, we've got goals in us. Theo's a big miss, but going forward, we've always got goals in Arsenal. But I just want to make sure that that defence is tight. And at the moment, fingers crossed, all the defenders are all fit. They're all rearing to go. And for me, that's better. Because I remember last year, we did have to throw in like Callum Chambers at right back. And, you know, I don't want to be going into the Bayern Munich game with lacking in defenders, because we're going to be very important that we have those players. And same for Spurs. We need to be solid at the back. So it's not all doom and gloom on the injuries front, in that the defenders are all fit and Coquelin's fit. There's players there who can get goals. Giroud can step up. Alexis is there. Goals can come. So it's not all doom and gloom. And I think we can go to Swansea, who, let's remember, before last week's game against Villa, and Villa's not exactly the hardest team to beat, have been going on a really bad run. Arsenal need to go there and be positive, play disciplined football, and we can definitely turn over Swansea. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out all of our videos. Brilliant Halloween video coming up tonight. Make sure you check that out. And also check out my interview with KSI here on Arsenal Fan TV. Looking forward to the game tomorrow against Swansea.